Well, there's nothing happening here, so, well, in fact, Selby's coming back. We were going to go belatedly on table 2, but Mark Selby coming back now, so we can get this match going properly. Got his chalk. Well, full-blooded attempt, but didn't find the target. He knows that Alfie Burden is going to play an attacking game. That's the game he plays. So we'll see Burden attack, and I'm sure Burden will not want to get dragged into playing the tactical game, which of course is going to suit Selby. So this is an early chance for Alfie.
Yeah, Mark doesn't want to start today the way he started yesterday against Adam, but that's a missed opportunity there for Alfie.
Well, it really is. I mean, that was a good chance to get going.
Played really well at the end of the match, Mark Selby. No disrespect to Adam, and he pushed him actually, but I think perhaps you can say that Mark's got the bad one out of the way. But he played superbly towards the end of the match. He knows that Alfie's a tricky opponent here. He knows he should win. But as we said yesterday, you've still got to produce the goods. Let's look at the green here. I think it's to the middle pocket. Was good. Well played.
Yes, he made 3 centuries. There were 4 players yesterday, as we see this green go in. 4 players who made 3 centuries. Sean Murphy, Michael White, Judd Trump and Mark Selby. 18 in total on the first day. Incredible, really.
2 new records, I think, isn't it? On the first day of a major ranking event.
5.
Black available to both corners here, so he wants to get him onto the black spot as soon as possible. Might do it here.
10.
No, he's got too much angle. Back for the blue. Jimmy White against Michael Holt in this session. That could be a good one. Jimmy had a good win yesterday. We're now going to play Michael if he turns it on. Alan McManus against Matthew Stevens.
16.
Still 8 tables in operation here in Beijing.
$17.
Head-to-head not always significant, but 7-0, including 3 wins this season. I don't think Alfie Burden would have been punching the air when the draw came out. And that's why he'll be annoyed to have missed that red at the start of this frame. Remember, Selby took on the long red, left pot on, but Alfie Burden missed it, and now he's in his seat, fearing the worst.
Yep, might be there for some time. Oh, that kicked. That was a definite kick. Let's look where the white's finished.
32.
The pace on the white completely stopped. And now he's left himself with the cue ball near the side cushion. Well, I don't think he'll play the pot here. I think he'll play the safety. Well, that could have been more.
32.
but for that kick. Well, that's a great pot from distance, and Mark a little bit annoyed with himself that he left that one on, but still a great red. Now, what can he do here? Very underestimated player, Alfie. He's tenacious.
8.
He's a tricky opponent for anybody.
Wow.
That's golden. 8.
Well, that could be a fatal error in this frame.
Calamity. Catching the first red on the way through.
One. Eight. Nine.
Mark Selby won this title 2 years ago, didn't defend it last year, didn't come to Beijing. Had a few off-table things going on. Although the rest, of course, seemed to do him good, because he went on and won the World Championship for a second time, of course. And as I was saying to him recently, I was talking to Mark in Coventry at the Championship League. I pointed out there's no crucible curse for second-time winners. Obviously, no first-time champion has defended it, but once you're a multi-champion, we've seen with Hendry Davis, O'Sullivan, Higgins, quite often they just keep on winning it.
Fifteen. 16.
Already with a 40-point lead here in this opening frame, and Reds in the open. Would expect Mark to clinch the opener here. I think he played on the one to the corner, but he's got this one to the middle. Pink goes. Took him a while to get going yesterday, but he played brilliantly in the end. Looks like he's hit the ground running here, though, today. Although he has been helped along a little bit by Alfie with a couple of mistakes. Alfie had the initial chance, actually. Red to the yellow pocket, missed it. Got to take those chances against these top stars when you get them. Otherwise, you will find yourself in trouble.
That's one.
So as you see this black frame ball, Burden has made 2 big errors. He missed a red to the yellow pocket, then he mishit the shot when he was in before he caught the wrong red. And it's all contributed to Mark Selby winning this opening frame. And he made a much better start than he did yesterday against Adam Stefanoff when he was the one struggling first 2 frames.
$39. 45. 46.
You'd really like to sort of clear these if you can and keep Alfie cold in his chair.
53.
Perfect. Nicely through the brown and the green. Well, the angle of the cue ball was, it's not perfect position. Yeah, well done.
61.
Well, Alfie's had a couple of chances in this frame. Didn't take them. That's what it's all about.
$68.
Can't make the century, of course, but pretty solid frame here from the world champion. World number 1.
17. $73.
I think the danger here, David, for Alfie is if he doesn't take those chances, this could be a bit of a runaway victory for Mark, especially if it goes 2-0, 2-0, then possibly 3-0. We shall see as it unfolds. But Mark here looking pretty sharp, actually, once in.
27. 82.
Learnt the lessons from yesterday. A better start today.
So Mark Selby takes the opening frame with that break of 82. And Alfie Burden left to rue a couple of missed opportunities. And he's going to have to make more of them as the match goes on if he is to cause an upset today. Burns at the table in the second. Ian Burns is the world number 62 from Preston, where the qualifiers were actually for this a few weeks ago.
50.
Higgins will be favourite there, but the head-to-head between them is 1 each, so Burns has a win over him. The most recent win, actually, German Masters qualifier last year. He got the victory. I'm sure that'll be in his mind as he comes to play this match. Ian Burns 62nd, so with the cut-off 64 to start on the tour, every ranking point he can get is going to be very important, of course.
It's that time of the season, isn't it? A few twitches going on, going into the last couple of tournaments of the season, trying to stay on the tour, or whatever. It's like the football season, of course, with promotion and relegation.
Thank you. Your second frame.
Well, Higgins Burns is on the Eurosport player, and we'll be back to it in due course here. Mark Selby made an 82 break in the first frame to lead Alfie Burden 1-0. Day 2 of the China Open. And if Selby's going to win the tournament, he's going to have to play every day because, of course, because his first round match was held over. 7 rounds altogether in the 7-day tournament. Not that that bothers him. We know that from his Crucible exploits, where quite often you're playing, of course, twice a day. Good pot from Burden. Could have finished better, though.
Yeah, it's a big shot if he takes the blue one, especially with the red near the middle pocket. Looks like he is doing. Oh, he was a mile away.
I've got him. Well,
Hasn't quite settled yet.
No, he's clearly made his mind up to attack, but if that's the strategy, they have to go in, because he was always leaving this red on.
one.
Needs to slow down a bit. Yeah, he's okay. Just wonder if the black goes, actually. We'll find out in a minute, because I think the black would then go onto the blue spot, which would allow him to get rid of the red that's near the black spot. Well, chose to go the other way. It's fair enough. It's got the angle to get onto this red. Just push into the black here in potting this red, just nudge it towards this left-hand corner pocket. Looks like his Mark Selby's concentration is much better today. Just depends where the next red's coming from here. What if you can just get a little cannon? There's the 2 reds left of the pink there. If he can come off the side cushion with the cue ball, little cannon onto those 2 reds. I don't know whether he's looking going around the table, but don't know whether that's on actually, with a little bit of check side. Black is not the problem, of course. It's the next red. Might be looking to go around the table here. Got to avoid the bulk colours though. Ah, no good.
Selby, 18.
He's just nudged that red out from the edge of the pack. This might be on actually for Alfie. Well, these are the sort of pots that he needs to be sort of getting here to try and get in. Too thin. Oh dear me.
7. Eight.
Don't think it's quite a perfect angle here. He's going back for the blue. Thought he might try and run through the reds actually. But that's the percentage shot. Bit of reverse side.
15.
He's got a touch far, but he's okay. He can get the cannon into the bunch. Well, this could be a key shot here. If he can hit that middle red of the 3, 4 ball, with a bit of pace, they should split nicely. He's already got a 32-point lead. Well, that was a little bit more gentle than I anticipated. Thought he might have gone in with more pace. I don't think there's anything there.
Charge.
Well, unless one sneaks through. Oh, that might go. That's a bonus. Well, this is a delicate one because he's very close to this red. He doesn't want to push this, but he might be able to pop the red and stay on the black. Caught it clean.
21.
Well, that was a definite bonus. Take them while they're there. Well, once more within 2 or 3 shots, who's bang in here. A chance to make it 2-0. So important, like Alfie had a couple of chances in the opening frame, so important to take those early chances because it can set the pattern of the match. This is looking like 2-0. Could be 3-0. And then Alfie's playing catch-up.
$36. $37. $43.
So Burton's strategy has been to attack, but it's not worked yet because they're not going in. Simple as that. And Mark Selby, he's grateful for all these chances. He made 82 in the first frame, and he's dominated this one as well.
Yeah, just picking him off, I'm afraid.
51. $50. 52. $57.
We had 3 tons yesterday. Chance of 1 here.
58.
Could have had 4. Some day yesterday, opening day. 4 players making 3 centuries in their victories. 18 centuries, as we've already mentioned, in one day. Great start to this year's China Open.
$65.
No problems today, David. He's on it.
Well, he's made a much better start, but he's been helped by his opponent.
Indeed.
And I'm sure after what happened yesterday at the start, he was determined to prepare properly. Although, having said that, of course, he did forget his chalk, but that was resolved very quickly.
I suppose it's not as bad as forgetting your cue, though.
71.
Good pot there.
77.
Needs another one here to continue and try and make the century. Don't be surprised if this goes in. Oh,
79.
very good. Concentration is much better today.
82. $86. $91.
Pink and black for a century. And that would be 4 in the 7 frames that he's won in the tournament.
97.
Well, excellent clearance from Mark Selby of 104, and he takes an early grip on this match. Of course, he had 82 in the first frame. Alfie Burden, he's going for his shots, but they're not going in, and Mark Selby in charge here, leading 2-0. So far, I can tell you on table 2, John Higgins is also 2-0 up. He came from behind to win the second frame against Ian Burns. That's live on the Eurosport Player. Got close to that. I think though Selby, having seen the way Burden has approached this match, will feel that he may get enough chances to win it. It's not like he's playing an archly tactical player and he feels, I've got to make the most of this chance because I might not get another one. I think he'll feel he will get chances, and that's why he's possibly so relaxed so far. So as I say, from Burden's point of view, they're going to have to start going in soon.
Got lucky there. I mean, he still might have left this red on, but where the white's finished, if he catches the black, it's nailed on. But it's a chance. Can go down for the blue. Well played.
One.
on, Alfie. Just one good solid break hit. Get yourself up and running.
Six.
As I mentioned earlier, he made that maximum this season, which was a big thing for him. His first as a pro. That was at the English Open, the new Home Nations series. Kicked it off in Manchester. And his form's been pretty good in general. He was a quarter-finalist here last year. He's been in 2 quarter-finals this season, European Masters in Romania. And just recently at the Gibraltar Open, he actually made back-to-back centuries in that match against Nigel Bond, but lost out 4-3. But he'd beaten the likes of Anthony McGill, Ricky Walden along the way.
I think in some ways the other thing that's helped as well is that he practices with Anthony Hamilton at the Whetstone Club in London, and he's seen what Anthony's done in Germany this year, and he's thinking, well, I fancy a bit of this, because they're great mates and practice partners.
13.
Yeah, he sent us some nice pictures of all the guys there at Whetstone watching the final on Eurosport as Anthony did the business in Berlin.
They went nuts, didn't they? They were a good lot down there, actually. We did a session down there with some journalists a couple of years ago, I think. Joe and himself, there was also there, David, and it was a good day, wasn't it? Nice people down there at the Whetstone Club, and I'm sure they'll be watching this one.
21.
A little bit unlucky there. Caught them well. Could have finished better. Still got this red on.
28.
Not ideal. Unless something else sort of sneaks through the gap there. Yes, good contact. He's double checking this one in the middle of the pack. Ooh, that looks a little bit tight. Well, he's looking at the plant, actually. 3-ball plant. Ah. Well, he must have thought it was guaranteed. He's been a little bit fortunate to see the cue ball finish there.
28.
Yeah, I think Mark's looking for a safety hit. He's got away with that one a little bit, Alfie. Trying to get him behind the blue. It's looking pretty good. Oh, what about that one? What a time to play one of those with all the reds open like this. Oh. Well, where do you put the cue ball save here? Yeah, a wry smile because he's thinking, well, I've got away with that slightly, but just look where the white is now. Perhaps I haven't got away with it. Very difficult to get this safe. And the thing is, I don't think he's got the angle to come off the side cushion. That's a great shot there from the world champion. Well, if Alfie doesn't get this right, it could be 3-0. If he could come off the side cushion, he might have to play this at pace. I'm not sure whether he's got the angle. As Willie Thorne once said, David, it's one of mine, a hit and hope.
Well, it might have to be, because sometimes that can work if you can't think of anything else.
50-50. Tell you what, it's not too bad. Could have been worse. Might have left one to the middle though. Definitely one to the corner, but I'm just looking at the one left of the pink spot. If Alfie had got the white to the cushion there, that would have been a result. Yeah, didn't get away with it. So that beautifully played snooker behind the blue has given Mark this opportunity to possibly make it 3-0. And then the best of 9, Alfie will be in all sorts of trouble. Would be a massive frame, the last one before the interval.
5.
I think you can roll this in and just stay low on the black here. It's available. The option is to go back for the pink. Just asking. Well, I thought he might be asking for the keyboard to clear. No, he's just asking the referee. Just he was in his eye line.
6.
Well, yes, he's 22 points behind, but they're all there. It could be 3-0.
Chop. 13. 20. 21. 28. 29. 36. 37.
'Well, the world champion has started today how he finished yesterday.
44.
Very strong.
45.
Well, if he's landed on the middle one, that's perfect.
52.
Just opens up the other two. I think one of them goes anyway. Well, this one's okay. They all go. Coconut shy.
53.
Break goes to 53. The lead is 25, 31 with the pink. Not far away from making it 3-0. Alfie could be in trouble. He's had his chances though. To date, hasn't taken them.
$60.
Got to feel if this goes 3-0, the next frame for Alfie is massive. If he doesn't get that, it goes 4-0. That's a long way back. 3-1, still has a chance.
He was in trouble behind that blue, and it looked like he might have got out of it, but did leave the red onto the middle.
Yeah, it was a great snooker that Mark laid.
So this red, and it's snooker's required.
67.
Well, number one's looking good here.
68.
I know it's only the second day in of this year's China Open, but could this be the man to beat this week? Who knows?
$74. $75.
Well, another century looms. Had one in the last frame. He had 3 yesterday.
It's getting boring now. It's great stuff.
$81. $83.
Could have done a little bit more on the cue ball there, but the brown passes the blue.
$86.
Well, Alfie's about to go 3-0 behind, but, you know, he's had early chances in all of these 3 frames. But after that, Mark's just picked him off.
95.
So it looks like another century, the pink. And it will be. And that will be 5 in the tournament in 8 frames won for Mark Selby. Oh, Mark. He's missed the pink after all that. He'll be annoyed. But when he looks at the scoreboard, he'll be happy enough because he's 3-0 up with 3 big breaks. Completely in control of this match and looking good to close out a place in the last 32 here in Beijing. Otherwise, can't see any way Selby can lose. He's had breaks of 82, 104, 95. Should have been another century. Missed the pink there unexpectedly at the end of frame 3. But the main thing for him is he's in total control.
Yeah, and you could see the annoyance of Mark Selby when he missed the pink, actually. He wanted the century.
Table 2 is John Higgins against Ian Burns. It was 2-0 to Higgins. Burns, though, has won the 3rd frame. Not much happening here. Early stages of frame 4. Higgins at the table. Live on Eurosport Player. John Higgins won one of the early events in China, the 1999 China International in Shanghai.
Thank you. Frame 4. Mark Selby 3.
So, Alfie Burden is back, and this is the last frame before the interval. Well, it's been one-way traffic. Mark Selby 3-0 up with 3 big breaks as he gets frame 4 underway.
Well, realistically, you've got to say that Alfie must capture this frame, otherwise I don't think there's any way back. We won't. We don't have to tell him that. He knows. Well, it wasn't easy from distance, especially when you haven't had the table time. This will be frustrating for him. He's a better player than this, we know that. So, a chance here for Mark to get in early on in this fourth frame. Could this be? Here we go again.
Well, that'll be the fear, I'm sure, for Alfie as he sits back down again.
Eight.
As I was saying yesterday,
9.
when we were commentating, Mark Selby had a very good first half of the season. He won 3 ranking titles, including, of course, the UK Championship. But since the new year, it's not been quite as good as that. He's just been steady, really, rather than spectacular. But it is a long season. It's hard to keep hitting the heights. It takes a lot out of you
16.
winning, certainly the longer tournaments. He also won the International Championship, which was best of 11 tournament. Still miles
17.
in front in the world rankings.
Yeah, if he just looks after his business, he'll be there for a long, long time. No, I might just come off the back of the pack
24.
here for the black. Try and split 1 or 2 more. He's on it today. He's looking very sharp. And I'm afraid Alfie has had a lot of time in that chair, unfortunately for him. Does happen.
$32. $33.
Fifth black coming up then.
Forgot about that.
Mark Selby actually, he missed the last black on a maximum here in China a few years ago. It's kind of been forgotten that. Ken Doherty, poor old Ken, he's always brought up when he did it at the Masters. Other people have done it. And Mark Selby is in that club you don't want to be in. Although, of course, it makes a difference, the fact that he's made 2, including the 100th. He made the 100th maximum at the UK Championship a couple of years ago.
About Tepchai knew.
Yes, he did it twice, although, of course, again, he made one at the Paul Under Classic this season. But you can't, even with him, you kind of feel people will remember the 2 he didn't make rather than the one he did. Anyway, he's still on them here, and it's 30,000, the maximum prize. It's been rolling over for a few tournaments now.
Yeah, lovely little cannon there.
56.
Well, it's on, and he's definitely thinking about it. The priority, of course, is to win the frame, but just finished a little bit straight on the black here, though. Might have to play on the single loose red near the pink spot. Back off the side cushion. Yeah, he didn't want to be straight on the black there. He wanted to have some sort of angle just to sort of nudge into them. And he's left himself a little bit low on this red. Can he get back for the black? Will he play on the black?
64.
He might not. He might just play to win the frame, lead 4-0. No, he's playing for the blue. Well, sensible.
65.
It was that time as well, David, wasn't it, when Ding Junhui was on one and forgot, went down for the blue when he could have played on the black.
Well, that was at the Crucible, which it just shows the players, they do get in the zone of just concentrating on what they're doing and trying to win frames. And it says a lot about Selby that, he's 3-0 up. His opponent's done nothing so far, but still he wants to get the frame on the board. He's not going to chase the 147. He just wants to win the frame, get to 4-0.
Lovely cannon there, just avoided the pink, played it perfectly.
70.
And I think it is about to go 4-0. So Alfie Burden here is in desperate trouble. He has had his chances, we keep saying it, he's had chances. Probably not in this one, it was a long red that he took on in this one, but the other three he's definitely had early chances. But if your opponent's playing one visit stuff, what can you do?
So no maximum, but he can still make the highest break so far. It's 140 at the moment, Zhang Anda.
That's worth £2,000.
79.
Great stuff here from the world champion, world number one.
86.
Keep mentioning it, had a bit of a slow start yesterday, but he's hit the ground running today. That's not in doubt. At the moment, Alfie Burden. Oh, he's got a kick. He's got a kick. That was unlucky.
Yes, he could have made another century, as indeed he could have done in the last frame, but when you look at the breaks, it's been impressive stuff from Mark Selby. 82, 104, 95, 87. Completely one-sided, and he's fully expected to complete victory when they come back after the interval. Mark Selby, one frame away then from a place in the last 32. He leads Alfie Burden 4-0. Back live with Mark Selby and Alfie Burden here at the China Open. Last 64 and Selby firmly in control. 4-0 as they resume after the interval. He's had breaks of 82, 104, 95 and 87. Last two breaks could have been centuries. Missed the pink on 95. Had a kick on 87 in the fourth. But he's been completely dominant and is expected to close out victory, you would think, pretty comfortably. Well, some noise there and disturbance in the audience.
Yeah, Peggy Lee was doing Mark's match yesterday. She had to have a word with one or two people in the audience taking pictures on their phones when Mark was down on the shot. Good red there, though.
Well, he's completely relaxed, as you would expect with the scoreline as it is and the performance as well as it is. If he does come through, he'll play the Jimmy Robertson or Martin O'Donnell. They're up later on in the next session.
6. So.
Yeah, nice pace there.
Chop. $13. 20.
Got to be careful here. This could go wrong. Just clipping off the edge of the pack, I think, for black. Well played. Well, that's gone a little bit further than you would have liked, and this is a little bit awkward now. Seems to take a bit of a big bounce off that side cushion. Well, this is no gimme. Looks good. Well played. Could have done with a little bit of a touch on the red on the way through, but I think he's okay. He's got this. Well, he's definitely got the open red, but I think he's got the one just at the edge of the pack.
28.
That was a good pot from there. But as David had just mentioned, he wanted this out of the way now, early. Think of things ahead. A disappointing day for Alfie so far. Well, so I'm sure there's one or two of the lads at the Whetstone Club in London watching this, and Alfie's a better player than this. But, well, let's be honest, he hasn't turned up. Oh, it's not looking good for Alfie Burden.
No, I'm sure Alfie's delighted that Mark Selby found his chalk, because if he worked with us earlier, he turned up without it. But first attempt at a pot that he had, Burden, in the match, he missed it. And it's not really, things have not really improved for him since then.
37.42. 43.
'A typical performance though for Mark Selby, very professional.
50.
Out of respect really for his opponent, he knows
51.
that how good Alfie can be. Just come out and done the business, I'm afraid.
Eight. 59. 66.
So just a couple of balls away from clinching victory. You see 5-0 sometimes, and
67.
the scoreline doesn't quite reflect the play, but this one has been 5-0 all day long. It's been a completely one-sided victory.
I wouldn't disagree with that. Can Mark finish with a century? Disappointing day for Alfie Burden. I'm sure that he really fancied the challenge when he came out here at the beginning of the match, but a few early chances in frames 1, 2 and 3, didn't take them, and it's all gone away from him. Well, he's gone too far there actually, and he's snooping himself on the other red, so he's looking at the plant. And of course Alfie already needs snookers. Nope, should have done enough, but I'm sure Alfie will come back here.
74.
2 snookers needed.
He's annoyed. Again, he would like to have finished in style and would like to have finished full stop. Still big favourite to win 5-0, but it's not quite over yet.
Yeah, it's when he missed that pink for the century. You see the annoyance in that. When he missed that, when he wanted that another century on the board. Good there, the red there from Alfie. A lot to do here though.
Yes, this is what marks out the great players from the rest. They're not satisfied with a 95 when there's a century on.
8.
And it's that desire to keep improving and keep setting new standards that makes them the champions they are.
Yeah, Hendry was the best, wasn't he? Every time he came to the table, he wanted to clear. I used to practice with him in Scotland, David. Oh, it looks good. Well, that's a great pot from Alfie Burden to keep the break going. Yes, practice with Stephen at Sterling's in Scotland, and there might be 2 or 3 reds on the cushion, but he was always determined trying to nudge them off and make centuries. One of the best break builders we've ever seen.
Yes, his comeback last week didn't last too long at the seniors, and I think it just underlines that there's no substitute for match play. Peter Lyons, who won that tournament, he's playing all the time in amateur and pro events.
No, he's doing well here, Alfie, but still needs 2 snookers.
Well, he's got this red by the pink, a chance to lay snooker here. He knows, though, against Selby, they've got to be good. He could have to lay 20 before he gets the 2 that yield the penalty points.
Well, the angle looks perfect if you can avoid the clip in the pink here on the way through. Just weld the cue ball behind the pink. Don't get the double, though. Just for a minute there, I thought he potted the red.
Well, it's worked out well because the red's gone by the yellow, so all sorts could happen here. The free ball, of course, is the one thing Selby can't afford to leave.
Yeah, and of course, if he just misses the red and goes past it, he'll be in another snooker. So catching that middle bump has worked out to Alfie's advantage here. Well, that's a great hit off the 1 cushion.
Yeah, this is what I was saying, you know, he laid a good snooker there and Selby's hit it full ball. So it's a tall order, this, make no mistake. But credit to him for playing on, although that's not gone as planned. It's not got him behind the yellow.
Yeah, and the red is available. And of course, if this goes in, it's match over. He'll be going for this.
And in it goes. Well, it's been a great performance. He started slowly yesterday, but he's been brilliant all day today. There's the handshake, and Mark Selby emphatically clinches his place in the last 32 of the China Open here in Beijing. He'd made breaks of 82, 104, 95, 87 and 74. It's been an onslaught, and Alfie Burden just never quite